welcome to the debate. It's really fascinating, actually, to dive into something seemingly so everyday, the watch, but find it holds such, layers of meaning. Our discussion today, it springs from this quite insightful piece, The Enduring Symbolism of Watches, which argues, pretty persuasively, I think, that a watch is, much more than just a device for telling time. So the core question we're grappling with here is the lasting significance of a watch primarily rooted in its practical function, keeping time? Or has its main value shifted, especially now, to become more of a symbol of personal history, maybe discipline, craftsmanship, things like that, particularly when time is just everywhere else? I'll be arguing that its enduring power really lies mostly in that rich symbolic meaning, its connection to our personal stories, which goes far beyond just telling us the hour.
Right. And while I absolutely acknowledge those symbolic aspects you've highlighted, they're undeniable, my perspective comes at this, slightly differently. I'm going to argue that the enduring significance of a watch, even its symbolic power, actually remains intrinsically linked to its primary function, the practical management of time, and, maybe more importantly, the discipline it encourages in how we use that time. I think without that practical core, a lot of the symbolism, it loses its foundation.
Let's explore that because, in our world today, time is literally everywhere. Phones, computers, microwaves, you name it. So for me, a watch's true enduring significance, its real value now, has definitely moved beyond just displaying the time. The source material itself says it quite well, doesn't it? It calls the watch a symbol of order, punctuality, fashion, and sometimes even personal history. It's clearly more than a device for telling time, acting as this sort of constant reminder that time is precious and that how we use it shapes our lives. And that story of James in the material, I think it perfectly illustrates this shift. His grandfather's simple silver piece with a leather strap, it wasn't just an object, it became a constant reminder of responsibility. It represented legacy, discipline, and the invisible link between past and present.
And the crucial part for me is that line for him, it was never just about hours and minutes. It was about life itself. So the lasting value isn't just about reading the dial. It's embedded in the craftsmanship, carrying a piece of craftsmanship on their wrist, the personal story, the discipline it imparts. In an age flooded with digital time, the watch is almost freed, free to embrace its deeper symbolic role as a personal emblem.
That's a very evocative way to put it, focusing on that almost deeper personal meaning. Still, I find myself pulled back to its practical origins. While I agree completely that watches carry profound symbolic weight, I have to argue that this significance is, inseparable from its basic role in managing time practically. Think about the symbols you just mentioned: discipline, punctuality, that phrase James remembered, every second counts. These powerful ideas, these values, they stem directly from the watch's utility as a precise time-tracking tool. I mean, could a watch really symbolize punctuality or responsibility if it fundamentally didn't measure time accurately, measure every minute, hour, second? I'd argue that without that core, precise function, the symbolism becomes, unmoored. It loses its grounding. Even as a legacy, James's watch connected him to his grandfather's point about time being precious and how we use it shaping our lives, which is fundamentally about the practical application and appreciation of time. And actually, look at the vocabulary list in the source material itself. Terms like check your watch, set a watch, even the types, digital, quartz, mechanical. These all point directly to its functional utility as the bedrock. The symbol gets its strength from the precision it represents, wouldn't you say?
I see your emphasis on the bedrock. And historically, yes, precision was absolutely key. But let's focus on enduring significance, especially now. The material states, in modern times, watches compete with phones, yet they continue to represent elegance and discipline. Now, that seems like a critical point, right? It suggests that their relevance continues despite this functional redundancy from other devices. If it were purely about telling time accurately, wouldn't they have become niche, almost obsolete for many? The fact they haven't and instead represent elegance and discipline points for me straight towards their inherent symbolic power. James's story really highlights this. The watch became far more than an accessory. Its value rooted in narrative and personal meaning. This meaning exists somewhat separately from the practical competition. In a way, the very existence of easy digital time makes the watch's role as a symbol even more potent, because wearing one becomes a conscious choice for something more than just a time readout. Do you really think James's watch would have lost all its profound meaning if, hypothetically, it stopped telling time perfectly but still represented that connection to his grandfather? I struggle with that idea.
That's a fair point about James's deep connection, but I'm still not sure the symbolism is entirely detached. Let me try to explain why. That phrase, "every second counts," which was so transformative for James, it directly relates to the practical, disciplined approach to time that a watch enables. The watch became a reminder of responsibility because it measures time, prompting James, as the text says, to arrive on time, to respect his commitments. So, in my view, the symbolism grew out of this practical use, his interaction with the watch as a timekeeper. It's not enduring despite competition. Maybe it endures because its basic function still grounds the meaning it carries. Can we really internalize every second counts without a tangible personal device measuring those seconds on our wrist?
Okay, that leads us quite naturally into the next point then, craftsmanship, design, material value. The source material points out the experience of carrying a piece of craftsmanship on their wrist. And the vocabulary, luxury watch, gold watch, silver watch, the focus on design and brand, it strongly suggests that aesthetics, art, maybe even status, are really central to why they remain desirable today. Often, these factors seem to overshadow the purely functional need, wouldn't you agree? People choose a high-end watch not necessarily because it's the most accurate timekeeper available, their phone probably wins there, but because of what it represents. It seems these choices are driven largely by symbolic representation, making a statement about oneself, one's values, perhaps even legacy.
You know, the intricate movements you can see, the polished metals, the detailed dials, these are admired for their artistry, the human skill involved, not just because they help tell time. The price alone often detaches it from pure utility. It's like owning a small piece of functional art that also happens to tell time, but maybe more importantly, tells a story about you.
Yes, the artistry is undeniable, and I absolutely agree that craftsmanship is highly valued today. But I think we need to look at the history of that craftsmanship to grasp its enduring significance. The complex mechanics of an antique watch or a fine mechanical watch, these were developed over centuries, specifically to achieve better timekeeping precision and reliability. The beauty often went hand in hand with the function or even served it. And the very actions associated with some watches, like needing to wind a watch or occasionally repair a watch, those speak to a disciplined, hands-on engagement with the precision of time. Even the most elegant designs, ultimately, they exist to house and present the time-telling mechanism. So the aesthetic enhances, I'd say, rather than replaces the functional core. Think about it. Can a watch really be an enduring symbol of craftsmanship if it's notoriously inaccurate or just stops working? Its appeal, its significance, even its symbolic power would quickly fade. So I see the art and design as vital, yes, but they're like a sophisticated layer built upon that critical function within. The luxury materials and aesthetics elevate the experience of managing time. They don't replace the need for it altogether. How can we really separate the art from the reliability it was aiming for?
That's a valid historical point, I grant you, but the debate is about enduring significance, especially right now. And the modern context, with time readily available everywhere else, that's what really shapes its current meaning, I think. While historical craft aimed at accuracy, for James, that moment he realized whenever he looked at the watch, he didn't just see the time, he saw a legacy. That points to a profound mental shift, something that goes beyond mere utility. The watch for him acts as a constant reminder, yes, but of a philosophy of time and life, not just as a tool to, check your watch. The real impact comes from that emotional, philosophical weight it carries. The act of wearing it connects him to deeper values, to his grandfather's wisdom. And for him, that connection surely transcends the simple convenience of knowing the hour and minute information he could get instantly from his phone. It's about a symbolic resonance that guides his approach to time, his philosophy, not just its measurement. And that feels, well, fundamentally symbolic to me.
I understand your emphasis on James's personal connection and that philosophical shift. However, even that core philosophy, every second counts, which clearly meant so much to him, it's fundamentally about the effective use of those measured seconds, minutes, and hours. The source uses phrases like check your watch and set a watch. These describe direct, practical interaction with the device's function. The watch's symbolic power for James, I believe, grew from its physical presence and his ongoing interaction with it as a precise time-telling instrument. That interaction then sparked the deeper thoughts about valuing and using time well. It's like a feedback loop, isn't it? The functional device shows the time accurately, which then inspires and reinforces the disciplined philosophy. Without that tangible, ticking presence on his wrist, without its precise display of time, that philosophical reminder might become less immediate, less constant.
The symbolism, in that sense, isn't totally separate. It's an echo, maybe a powerful outgrowth of its fundamental practical utility. The watch acts as a physical anchor for these abstract ideas, but it arguably needs to perform its core function to be that effective anchor.
Okay, so to wrap up my perspective, while watches certainly tell time, their truly profound and lasting impact today, their enduring symbolism, I believe is found primarily in those richer layers: personal history, the embodiment of discipline, the elegance they convey. They serve as tangible links to values and narratives that go far beyond simple utility, becoming powerful reminders, as James found, of life itself. Choosing to wear one now feels like a deliberate choice for meaning, not just function.
And my position, to summarize, holds that those profound symbolic meanings we attach to watches, discipline, responsibility, legacy, aren't separate from, but are actually deeply rooted in and amplified by their fundamental purpose: accurately tracking and helping us manage time, our most valuable resource. The symbol, as I see it, is a powerful extension of the function. The deeper meanings arise from our engagement with its core timekeeping utility.
Well, this has certainly been a fascinating discussion. It really highlights that complex dance between an object's practical use and the deep, layered meanings it can acquire. The source material definitely shows the watch as both a vital tool and a potent emblem. It invites us all, I suppose, to think about how these everyday things shape our understanding of time and, well, our place in it. There's definitely more to explore there, and how objects carry meaning.